Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a lot of Black Ops Cold War Zombies gameplay for you. I was blessed enough to be a part of Activision's early capture session yesterday, so thank you guys for that. And I want to show you what is roughly my initial experience from my first game to playing through to getting the advanced objectives, teleporting into the other dimension, going to the ether, fighting bosses, pack-a-punching weapons, lots of stuff in today's video. And I also wanted to offer you my review of the mode. I have something of a peasant opinion because I'm a casual zombies player. I'm not really hardcore into it. I didn't dedicate my channel to it like Noah or Dalek or Milo or some of those other guys, so they might have different opinions than me. But if you're a casual zombies player, perhaps my opinion is useful to you. But first, we have a sponsored message. I've played Raid Shadow Legends every single day this year while I'm doing my home workouts. I'll either run a game in between sets or let it auto-battle while I'm doing a set. And while I'm a long way from totally ripped, I'm making really good progress on being able to do things like pull-ups, which don't look like much, right? But they get hard really fast. And it was just less than, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago, I could barely do 2 pull-ups at a time. Now I can do that, chill, dead hang, come right back up, and keep on going. I actually lost count on how many pull-ups I did, but my fingers are tired. I play Raid Shadow Legends every single day. It's usually when I'm working out because the auto battle and turn-based combat features really appeal to me and help me time my sets. PvP arenas where I've mostly been playing lately, trying to level up against other players, and Raid just released an artifact forge where you can craft new items, there are more advanced quests, new champions coming, and the Doom Tower, which looks fun now but will probably break my soul in a couple of weeks. If you sign up using my link below, you'll get 100,000 silver for free, 50 gems, 10 mystery shards, and the free champion Hexweaver, who I kinda sorta don't have. You'll find all of this in the little treasure chest in the upper right hand corner after the tutorial. Since I've been working with Raid for so long, they wanted to give me something a little bit extra. 3 lucky new Raid players from amongst yourselves will be given a whole pile of awesome items. All you have to do is go to your profile in Raid, hit info to copy your user ID, and then leave a comment under this video with your Raid ID, and I will personally choose 3 winners at random at the end of this month, and you'll all get your rewards in the little inbox. And I can't recommend Raid enough, so what are you waiting for? Download today with the link in the description. Alright, now that that's over, we can get back to the Zombies review. My base opinion of this mode is that Zombies is looking great this year. It's seriously really good, probably in better shape than multiplayer, and I think that it also has the best possible balance between hardcore Easter egg hunter gameplay style and the casual experience. The first change that you'll have already noticed right away, not only from this video but from the reveals, is that you land via chopper. You don't kind of really teleport into the map, and you're in constant communication with the outside world and the US government the entire time. So you're really more in the world and less in your own sort of fantasy land. You can even request an exfil after 10 rounds and every 10 rounds after that. So if you fail your exfil or you don't want to do it, you have a very long way to go for the next one. And when you start the exfil request, it immediately triggers a massive wave of zombies. It cancels your round and does an exfil round, which is very hard. It'll also summon hellhounds, mini bosses, and full-on zombie bosses in mass. And they run at you from the exfil location, so you have to fight through them to get to the exfil zone. In most cases, you have a minute and a half to get there, and once you're there, you have to clear the landing area of all zombies before you can leave. If you fail, your chopper will actually get shot down by Russians, and you're stuck there forever. The point of this is to allow you to escape with extra rewards. If at any point you're done with the map, you can exfil, and it'll like double or triple the amount of rewards you get at the end. And I think that this also kind of helps the narrative of the mode, since instead of playing indefinitely until everybody dies, you do get to just end it and move on to the next mission. The base gameplay is a little bit different than before. I noticed that there's a lot more Fortnite-style point modifiers on the zombies. It gives you a lot of information about the damage you're dealing and the money you're making and stuff like that. Also, basic zombies have health bars by default. I turned them off for this entire video because I found them annoying, but I left the health bars on for bosses, so I would just recommend doing that. I think it's a little bit more immersive so that the zombies don't have, red bars all over the place. Your health, however, is pretty high for a zombies mode. You have 150 base health from multiplayer. Zombies will deal varying amounts of damage depending on their strength, and Juggernog will, of course, increase that health even further. On top of this, you can craft armor plates from Warzone to put on that further reduce incoming damage. Now, this is done by collecting scrap from dead zombies, and that takes a lot of scrap to collect these plates. I think it's 500, 1,000, and then 2,000 to get up to 3 total plates. I'm gonna let you know, that's a metric ton of scrap. That's like 30, 40 minutes of doing nothing but collecting scrap. So it's not gonna be very easy to do, but the important thing is that you have lots of different options. You have a lot of choices with your health and how you want to play this and what you think is important to keep. And there's a lot of different types of currencies you can pick up on the map as well. When you kill zombies, they drop grenades, they drop ammo, power-ups, and they drop a variety of like scrap and repair parts and other currencies. I think that having them drop all of this stuff gives me a reason to kill more zombies and keep moving throughout the map. It gives me something to do, and there's also attachments and perks that can make them drop more stuff, so I imagine I'll be more invested into that later on. But overall, I felt that that was a nice change to the combat loop. On top of this, the perk system is looking great. So like the games before it, the base, your base level and experience and your gun leveling is all unified. So if you play zombies, you'll actually level up your guns for multiplayer, or if you've played a bunch of multiplayer, you can jump into zombies with your guns already leveled up. And the same thing for Warzone, they're all tied together. Even though the leveling is unified, some of the guns and attachments have zombie-specific purposes, like a lot of the barrels that do various things for your radar signature might make zombies drop more loot or something like that. There's a bunch of perks you can equip, there's a whole ton of skills you can equip, abilities, there's tactical abilities, lethal abilities, there's ammo mods for your gun, perk upgrades, and of these 4 or 5 things that I just mentioned, there's about 5 to 10 in each category, and then each one of those upgrades at least to 3 tiers, if not more, so you're probably looking at 50 to 100 total different upgrades or abilities to choose from, or things to customize your kit with in zombies. There's a metric ton of customization, and you have to unlock all of this by collecting ether shards. Now, I didn't get very many of these. I didn't get an opportunity to do that. I think it's more like a reward for the grinders, but the more ether shards you get, which are purple crystals, the more you can upgrade your kit and make yourself feel really powerful. What's interesting to me is that this feels less overwhelming than Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 3 for some reason. I felt very lost in those game modes. I felt very helpless with the gobblegums and all the different stuff and the kind of slot machine mechanics they had going on. I didn't feel very comfortable with my base kit. However, in this game mode, it made a lot more sense how it all flowed. It made a lot more sense how it upgraded, and most of the upgrades themselves center around one of the elements that you're all familiar with from zombies. While I was playing, I didn't see any time-based consumables or any of the kind of slot machines or gobblegums or things like that that we had to deal with in the past. I think that those may be gone, we hope. Overall, I was very happy with the customization. Now, let's talk about the map. The map has 2 main objectives, and the first one is kind of a basic story that you get hints on. You know, the Weber will call in via the radio and tell you what to do, and there'll be objective markers on the map. I didn't even fully complete this one. It's a basic story, but there's definitely a lot to it. It takes a while. There's a lot of objectives, a lot of things to do. You have to kill zombies, bosses. And it gives you something to do as a casual player that's not boring. On top of this, I just wanted to briefly mention that the ping system is in zombies, so you can ping objectives. So if you're one of those people that play without a mic or you don't want to do the team chat thing, you can just ping various objectives, and it's a really good way to communicate with your team. The other thing that the map has is the true hardcore Easter eggs and stories that don't really have tooltips or whatever, that you really have to hunt down and solve and find out. Now, as of right now, the Easter eggs were disabled, so I didn't get to do any true hardcore Easter egg hunting in the game. It's going to get turned back on sometime later in the week, I assume Friday or Saturday, so that, you know, the YouTubers couldn't bust out real endings early or anything. I think this is the perfect balance. Now, this has been tried before. I know that Call of Duty World War II did something like this, and there were some other zombies modes and other games that tried this. They wanted to have a casual mode, so if you weren't super into zombies, it'd still be fun to play, and then things to kind of grind for the hardcore players. But the way this has always worked out in the past is that the casual mode was far too casual and boring, and then ultimately somehow the Easter eggs, instead of going the opposite way and being too hard, they were actually quite casual as well, and the maps in general suffered. I think this one strikes a nice balance by making both of them rather difficult. The base story isn't particularly easy to get through. and the hardcore Easter egg story is much harder to get through. So I feel as a casual player, I have more stuff to do on the casual side, and the casual side's a little bit more challenging, which I find very fun. It's the first COD Zombies game I feel that's done this right. So I enjoyed it as a peasant, and I took a look at the Discord that everybody was in, and it seems like that all of the actual hardcore Zombies players really enjoyed it as well. They all seem to have nothing but good things to say, and that makes me feel good. Now let's talk about the map itself. It's utterly massive. There are some pretty big outside areas that you've already seen in the trailers and you've definitely seen in this video. And once you get through those and open them up and go down deeper inside, it becomes truly labyrinthian, to say the least. It is an actual maze down there, and it would not surprise me if they hit a minotaur somewhere. It's also incredibly dark. Your flashlight, thankfully, is automatic. So anytime you go into the base, your flashlight will just kind of turn on, and you can see the zombies a little bit more easily. I think that the flashlight lighting and the overall atmosphere work really well for this kind of map, because when you go into this abandoned facility, it feels very, very gross and dirty and abandoned and dark, and you feel very alone when you get cut off from your team. You can kind of sort of teleport into the ether itself as well, which brings up an alternate dimension dark version of the map. Depending on your opinions, this might technically double its size, since there's stuff you can do in the ether version of the map that you can't do in the regular version, even though they share the same basic structure. I wanted to give a shout out to whoever at Treyarch decided to add the giant purple floating jellyfish in the sky. That is just an absolutely beautiful Easter egg. It's one that relates to the 1981 movie From Beyond, which is based on an H.P. Lovecraft book and released in the same year that this is supposed to take place. So I thought that was really, really cool. And I did notice quite a few horror movie Easter eggs in this one, like, you know, the movie From Beyond, but there were others in there that weren't necessarily licensed, but heavily inspired primarily by Lovecraftian stuff. Somebody who really had a passion for this put some work into it, and you can definitely notice. Also, the map in general seems fairly polished. We didn't find any glitch spots, we didn't find anything weird, I didn't get stuck in the floor, and it has a sort of natural flow to it that makes sense. The only thing I'm going to say about the basic combat of killing zombies is that it's satisfying. That's done right. Killing zombies fun. Good. Don't think I need to talk about that a whole lot. And at the end of the video, I need to talk about some downsides. I kind of don't like the points all over the zombies and health bars all over everything. I feel like that breaks immersion a little bit. It definitely helps for the more hardcore players, and it definitely makes it a little bit more arcadey. But if I wanted a spooky experience, I wouldn't be getting that with all the numbers flying everywhere. On top of that, the HUD is kind of a mess. I understand why, because there's all these different parts and upgrades and crafts and various things happening, and you need a lot of information to know what's up, but it was a little bit cluttery. And probably the biggest real criticism is that the early game point grinding is brutal, guys. So there's a lot of cool stuff to buy, a lot of cool stuff to upgrade, pack-a-punch your guns 3 times, whatever, but it costs a really absurd amount of zombucks and scrap and whatever, and in order to even have a chance of getting close to the maximum upgrades, you're going to have to econ your early games very, very hard, and you're going to have to play really far into the game to see anything fully upgraded. I mean, the costs are really, really high, so it's there to reward grinders, and I guess if you're not a grinder, you're just going to have to get good. That could turn away some casual players, or perhaps I'm just too casual to enjoy it. So basically, Zombies is looking super good this year. I had a lot more fun with Zombies than I have in the past. We currently only have one map that I know of, but more will come. A couple of different modes on the map, but it's still the same map. Dead Ops is there, technically a different mode, different map. It's very extensive. It's a massive arcade game, and it's doing its totally own different thing in a really good way, in my opinion. I had a lot of good times with Dead Ops, have a totally different video on that one. But I would probably give this Zombies experience a 10 out of 10 based on my initial impressions of it. Now, I could be wrong, and I'm a peasant, and you know, it could be rougher at launch, but in the pre-launch capture session, this mode was extremely good. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.